Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And today we are finally talking about one of the things that I was most excited about for the Walt Disney Company in 2014. A few weeks back, Saving Mr. Banks came out on DVD and Blu-ray, and they released it, I believe, the same day as Frozen. Is that correct, Patrick?
I think so.
Yeah, which was kind of a weird move on their part, in my opinion. But in any case, that's what they did, which is why we're not getting to it till now. But one of the things that I was most excited about the Blu-ray was I was hoping that it was going to be jam-packed with special features, especially since this is one of those movies that, I doubt it'll come out on a Diamond Edition or anything. I figured they would put it all on there and let it be, but although some of the features were cool, not too much. How long did it take us to get through it, Patrick?
Like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. Less than an hour, that's for certain. It starts off with this really sweet video with Dick Sherman, whom I absolutely adore. And I think it was the last day of shooting, right? When they did the whole Let's Go Fly a Kite scene.
Yeah.
Not the scene, rather, but Dick sat down at the piano and played Let's Go Fly a Kite, and the cast and crew were there singing it along with him. And it was really sweet. And it's just so nice to see. I mean, I can't even imagine what that experience must have been like for Dick Sherman making that film. I mean, that's got to be crazy.
Yeah, that's like a huge part of your life.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best parts of his life. And I actually don't know if I would want to see that in my lifetime. I think it would freak me out a bit, to be honest. And I don't know, from what I hear, he's happy with the film and all that stuff. So that's cool, but it's kind of...
He started crying at the end.
Oh, of course he started crying. Are you kidding me? I was like practically in tears. It's so beautiful. He's just an amazing guy. And, for him to have experienced that must have been... I love it when he talks about Walt. And it's just so funny because even, someone like myself who cares so much about Walt, to me, he was never alive anywhere close to my lifetime. So although I know he's this real person, there's still something so mythical about him. And to hear him or anybody else talk about Walt and they had conversations with the man. It's just trippy to me still to this day. I'm like, oh my God, you were friends with Walt Disney. That's crazy. So good for him and good for that film. And I loved it. And if you're listening to this and have not seen Saving Mr. Banks yet, you best run to a Redbox or a DVD store and pick up a copy because it is so darn good.
Or watch it on an airplane like I did.
Yeah, or watch it on an airplane. Yes, actually, Patrick and I were together to watch the Saving Mr. Banks special features, which was cool because he was out in California. So yeah, in addition to that, Let's Go Fly a Kite last day of shooting thing, they had a few deleted scenes. And although I didn't have any problems with any of the deleted scenes, I always find it comforting when I watch a deleted scene and I think to myself, yeah, you know what, that really wasn't needed in the film. That was the right choice to delete that. And that's kind of how I felt about the deleted scenes for Saving Mr. Banks. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they had one which was an additional flashback sequence with Colin Farrell. And then I did enjoy, they had one called Nanny Song, and it was when Bob and Dick Sherman were performing the Nanny Song for P.L. Travers. And I just love her little bickering moments. I think Emma Thompson was so good. Portraying P.L. Travers and those little snickety comments that she makes. And I think I was laughing my way through most of that deleted scene. But, it was nothing new that we hadn't seen already in the film. So it was fun to see that. And then there's a nice scene between her and Walt when she decides to leave and not give him the rights. But once again, they kind of already covered that earlier in the film. Or right before that scene in the film. So it all made sense.
It just seemed like longer versions of scenes we've already seen.
Longer versions of what?
Scenes we've already seen.
Yeah, completely agree. But I definitely think the highlight of the special features was a small documentary called The Walt Disney Studios from Poppins to the Present. Would you not agree on that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, cool. And one of the cool things about that, and this was kind of just happenstance. We weren't really planning on watching this that night, but that morning, Patrick and I had been to the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California. So it was a little weird. I mean, it wasn't my first time to the studios, but it was your first time. But even I was kind of like, this is kind of weird watching this documentary all about this studio that we were just at.
Yeah, they pretty much took a tour of everything we just did that morning. We're like, oh, we were there and there and there.
Yeah, and it's a pretty beautiful lot, and not a ton has changed since Walt's day. And one of the things that I always, when you hear these older documentaries back when these studios were created back in the 20s and such, you always hear people talking about how it was like a family on those lots and like a college campus. And that's one of the things that I really miss about the studio lots is, it's so much more corporate these days. And to see those old videos of like just the kids running around the back lots and stuff and being like, I can't even imagine what it would be like growing up in a situation like that. It just seems strange.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They interviewed like some of the kids who supposedly were in the lot, like the newspaper guy who said he crashed his bike right in front of Walt.
Yeah.
I would love to crash my bike in front of Walt Disney.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I love about the stories you hear about Walt is that like every day he visited every department, and you do not see that at all anymore. The heads of studios now don't even know where half the departments on their lots are located, I'm sure. So, obviously when it's your name on the gate and you created something and something you made is what paid to build the studio, I think you have a lot more connection to it, obviously, than these people decades later who never even met the person who created the studio. So
yeah, it was sure.
Definitely a different time. But I don't know. Since it was your first time to the studios, what was your overall impression of it?
I mean, I have, of course I've seen, pictures and videos of the studio before, but, I mean, just walking around, you can, feel the history, and, everything's pretty much the same as it always used to be, and it was just cool walking through all those footsteps. It's crazy.
Yeah. The one downfall, they ran out of Starbucks coffee for you.
Yeah, but it's okay. I halved it.
Oh, that's funny. So speaking of how they keep everything in their original state, now obviously most people know of the new animation building at the Walt Disney Studios, the one with the giant sorcerer's hat. But even the old animation building is still labeled animation at the old studios, and there's no animation in there anymore. It's all across the street now. But it's kind of cool how they still respect the history of the lot in that sense. And, they still have signs for the ink and paint department. Well, everybody knows there is no ink and paint department anymore, but these offices tend to be filled with production offices and such. But I think it's cool that they keep that history alive.
I'm just going to pretend like there is animation and ink and paint going on.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and do that. That'll work out well for you. And in addition to that, they kind of just lucked out, I would say, when it came to shooting Saving Mr. Banks there. Because of the fact that they did leave everything so original for themselves. There's very little set dressing necessary when it comes to going back to the 60s.
Oh, yeah. So, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, so whereas at Disneyland, Disneyland obviously changed quite a bit, and when they were shooting Saving Mr. Banks at Disneyland, they did have to go back and set dress it to be appropriate for the 60s. So,
yeah.
Good for them for not updating their studio. And they're probably sitting back being like, yeah, we didn't want to spend the money. And we're just like, oh, we appreciate the history. But whatever the reason is, I appreciate it, and I love that lot, and it's a beautiful lot, and it's a nice little quaint place that I would love to ride my bicycle around on the weekends. So I envy those kids that did that in their childhood. And anything else you wanted to say about the Walt Disney Studios, Patrick?
I will be working there one day.
Okay. In the old animation building, you're gonna take up a desk and just start hand drawing stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the ink and paint department.
where all the women were inking and painting back when that wasn't sexist. And you can just be there like painting cells, and somebody's gonna be like, what are you doing here? And you're like,
I'm working.
Yeah, I'm working here. That's funny. And of course, Patrick and I, being us, going to the Walt Disney Studios that morning just wasn't enough Disney in one day for us. So,
nope.
Guess where we ended up that night? The Disneyland Resort.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Disneyland Resort.
We didn't get to go in the parks because I actually don't have a pass or ticket for Disneyland. But,
no, but plus
Downtown Disney's good enough.
Yeah, well, it was quite funny, actually. To tell the story truthfully, you were quite exhausted, and you didn't want to go anywhere until I said two magical words. Do you remember what those words were, Patrick?
Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's. That's all it took. A little bar down at the Disneyland Resort is what gave Patrick a lot of energy.
Yes.
Yeah, so we actually headed down there on one night, and while we're in the car, Patrick, you decided to listen to... I guess you had never heard our fireworks show before, correct?
No.
So
well, I've seen the summer one. I haven't seen the normal.
Okay, so you'd seen Magical, but you hadn't seen Remember Dreams Come True. So you picked it on the iPod, and we listened to it on the ride down. And
yes.
And I was actually happily surprised because it was a Monday night. I didn't think that there would be fireworks, because unlike Walt Disney World, we don't shoot them every night when it's not peak season. But I guess it's spring break. I guess those kids are on spring break. So they did have Monday night fireworks. And so we sat outside. I call this the poor man's Disneyland fireworks, where you sit outside in the plaza between Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. And you can see the fireworks beautifully. Unfortunately, you just can't hear the music. But fortunately, Jeff DePaoli here has seen the fireworks way too many times. True or false, Patrick?
True.
And
fortunately, this isn't my first time doing this poor fireworks thing.
Exactly. So Patrick has a skill of pulling up the music that we had just listened to in the car ride on his phone. And you tell the rest, Patrick.
Yeah, so this is what you do if you can't get into the parks to listen to the audio. Just pull it up on YouTube, have someone you know, aka Jeff, who knows the fireworks really well, and sync the firework up to the music. And there you go, you have a full fireworks show for free.
And let's just say, like, we got it completely in sync.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually kind of scary how perfectly synced we had that music to the fireworks. And I really don't know if that makes us complete nerds or what, but...
Oh, it does.
It does? It's a fact? It does. We're total nerds? Okay.
And the fact that I've done the same thing to both Magic Kingdom and Epcot fireworks.
Not only have you done it, but I actually think you texted me video once of you doing it to Epcot. You were like, look,
yeah, because it was perfect.
Oh man, too funny. But I mean, I lost it when I didn't think we'd get it dead on. I thought we'd get it close, but we were like, dun 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 dun, boom, dun dun dun, boom. I was like, holy moly, it's perfect. So that was pretty awesome. And I don't know which is sadder, the fact that I knew the fireworks show so well that I could tell you where to sync it, or the fact that you have obviously had a lot of practice syncing up music to fireworks.
It's a skill.
It's equally sad on both of our parts, but
yeah,
I accept it and I enjoy it. So
but then after fireworks, indeed, go ahead. We went to Trader Sam's. No, this was exciting for me because last time I was in California, I was only 20. So this time I was 21, so I got to go to Trader Sam's and try Old Kungaloosh. That was at the Adventurers Club in Pleasure Island, and it's delicious, and I loved it. And I can't wait to go back.
Now, if you have never been to, or if you don't know what Trader Sam's is, Patrick, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, Trader Sam's is a bar that opened in the middle of the Disneyland Hotel. It's kind of a tribute throwback to the Adventurers Club that used to be at Pleasure Island at Downtown Disney in Orlando. Trader Sam's is actually the guy at the end of the Jungle Cruise who's trying to sell you shrunken heads. So it's his little bar. He dabbles in some mixology, aka drink mixing. So, yeah, there's a lot of cool things, interactive things that go on in there. Depending on what kind of drinks you order, you can have like the volcanoes exploding out the window, or it starts raining and thundering because you angered the tiki gods. It's just a really cool, interactive, fun place to grab a drink.
Or your bar stool can start dropping with no explanation.
Yeah, that's all you. You can tell that.
And yeah, I was quite confused at Trader Sam's because I gotta tell you, I am taller than Patrick. I am used to looking down at your eyes, Patrick. And all of a sudden throughout the night, I just kept looking up and up and up at you. And very gradually, my bar stool was sinking into the ground. And I literally was like, what is going on here? Like, I was like, am I just too heavy for this bar stool? I have no idea what's going on. And come to find out, this is a little trick that they play on you inside Trader Sam's. And, eventually my bar stool raised back up and I was looking at Patrick the way I was used to. But yeah, did you think I was crazy or what? When I was like, I think it's shrinking.
I don't, I think it was hilarious because there's so many fun elements within that place that I'm like, anything could happen there.
But the thing that was so funny was like, the falling part was happening so gradually. I was like, what is happening here? It wasn't just like all of a sudden, whoop, you down. It was so gradual that I was like, am I losing my mind? And I wasn't even drinking. So I was like, I don't even know what's happening here.
I think they use it as like a thing to make people think they're super drunk.
Yeah.
Like, well, oh my God.
And then I came up with the theory that perhaps they use it whenever people aren't buying alcohol to get them off of the bar. But that theory is untrue because I think you checked it out and it's only 3 of the bar stools do that.
Yeah, it's only 3 specific ones.
Yeah. So I picked the lucky seat, I guess, and I was sinking into the ground. I was sinking into the ground all night long and thought I was going crazy, but it was pretty cool, neat little place. But you'd compared it to the Adventurers Club at Walt Disney World. It used to be at Pleasure Island, and I actually never experienced the Adventurers Club. I regret the fact that I never did, but I hear people speak of it pretty fondly. So, but the Adventurers Club was more than just a bar, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had like acts and stuff.
So
but
it was.
Why it's a tribute is because a lot of the props that were used in the Adventurers Club are at Trader Sam's now.
So now we're calling saving money and reusing props a tribute. Is that what we're doing now? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So there's a tribute to Splash Mountain inside Star Tours, apparently. I like
Sure.
That. It's like when we call old things classic. They're not old, they're classic. Now we have tributes when we reuse stuff. All right, I buy it. I accept that.
There you
go. So what was the name of the drink that you got?
Kungaloosh.
Was it as fabulous as it had been?
Now, when you order Kungaloosh, they ask you if you want the new recipe or the old one. You always ask for the old one.
What's the difference?
I guess they changed it. They made a newer version, but if you want the old Pleasure Island Adventurers Club version, it's the old recipe. Huh.
Interesting. Well, next time you should try the new one.
We'll see.
Just to compare and contrast. But so Trader Sam's, I'm glad you got to experience that. I know you were looking forward to it. And actually, it was my first time in there as well, even though I'd been down there a bunch. But yeah, moving on from there, something fabulous happened in the Walt Disney Company a few weeks ago. And in fact, it was another one of my things I was looking most forward to in 2014. And we haven't talked about it yet. Aladdin has opened on Broadway. Yay!
Yes.
Yay, Disney theatricals. And although Patrick nor I have seen it yet, they, luckily in this day and age, they show a lot of stuff online. And they have showed some musical numbers. I know Arabian Nights was performed on Good Morning America, and Prince Ali was seen on The View, and there's a bunch of behind-the-scenes videos that you can see on YouTube. And Patrick, what were your first impressions of Aladdin on Broadway?
It's different. I guess when you know the story so well, and of course with all the other Disney theatrics, they can't make it 100% accurate to the story. So you don't expect the Aladdin movie, but
they always change them up.
Yeah, it's different.
I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Go ahead.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit too.
I have been looking really, really, really forward to this for a long time. And I've heard amazing things about it. And I think that's what was most disappointing was, they've done out-of-town tryouts. Now, granted, I have not seen the full show. I'm basing this solely on videos I've seen on YouTube. And to be quite honest, the first time I saw a performance from Newsies on The View, I was disappointed in that. And we all know it's now one of my favorite musicals of all time. So I could be completely wrong here. I'm just giving my first impression. It visually, the sets and costumes and stuff didn't look all that much different to me than the show at Disney California Adventure. They were a little less theme parky, but as far as color schemes and patterns and such, it reminded me a lot of that. Do you think so?
Yeah, I can agree that it's not theme parky. It's definitely its own style, but I think it's a little bit more elaborate.
Yes, definitely a bit more elaborate. But I don't know. It reminded me of the DCA show. Some of the musical arrangements that I heard and some of the casting that I saw, I was not really into. God, I hate not saying nice things about it, but it didn't make me want to run out and buy tickets. Now, having said that, I'm going to run out and buy tickets. Next time I'm on the East Coast, I will go see Aladdin on Broadway. But I don't know. It didn't rock my world.
Agree.
Man, that's sad news. I hate to say it, but I said it. Shall we move on?
But we can't judge it until we see it.
Exactly. We'll have to go see it, and then we'll give a full-on review of Aladdin on Broadway. And hopefully we'll love it. Like I said, absolutely love Newsies, and I was not blown away by that the first time I saw it. So hopefully it's just one of those things you gotta see live. Because that's one of the things that, goodness gracious, if you've never been to a live theater show, go see one. Because no matter how many videos or DVDs you watch, nothing like being there and seeing it. It's incredible. And I love Disney theatricals, so go catch a Disney show in a city near you. Anywho, shall we move on from there?
Yes, let's do that.
Since I mentioned Newsies, I might as well mention a man by the name of Kenny Ortega, who Disney once called the $1 billion man because not only did he direct the film Newsies, he also directed the film Hocus Pocus, as well as the huge High School Musical franchise. And Patrick, do you know what he's up to now?
He's making another Disney Channel original movie musical?
Actually, it's not being called a musical yet. It probably will be one, but it's not being titled as a musical yet. But it's called Descendants. And the concept's interesting. Have you heard about this?
Yes. I don't know how I feel about it.
So it's about the descendants of the Disney villains. So it sounds like the son of Beast and Belle he's going to become king, and he wants to give some redemption to these villain children simply because they've been exiled, and he feels like, they shouldn't be held responsible for their parents' activities. So in addition to the son of Beast and Belle, for the villain side, we've got the son of Cruella de Vil, the daughter of Maleficent, the daughter of the evil queen, and the son of Jafar. And my question is, who are these villains sleeping with to have all these babies?
Exactly, that is my question too.
I'm like, none of them are married, number one, so shame on you, Disney. But yeah, I don't know where these kids are coming from. Maybe we'll find out they're all adopted. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's going to be live action, so I think the funniest part will probably be the costumes and makeup, because I'm curious to see what Cruella de Vil's son looks like. Like, it'd be funny if he was like a biker dude or something, and of course, he's going to have split color black and white hair. Like it could be comical. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It comes out in 2015. So, well, Patrick, are you going to be running to a TV screen to watch that?
I'm going to be watching it out of just pure interest of what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I can agree. I love Kenny Ortega, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. One quick thing I want to mention is that the Smoketree Ranch is up for sale. And if you don't know what the Smoketree Ranch is, this was Walt's vacation home. It's in Palm Springs, California. It's up for sale for $535,000. So I think I'm going to go buy it.
Oh, that's not that much. Yeah.
No, I'm going to go buy it and make it a tourist stop, I think. But the reason I like to mention the Smoketree Ranch is if you have ever seen the Partner statue at a Disney park or the Walt Disney Studios, which is the statue in the hub of Mickey and Walt, on his necktie, you'll see a little emblem or a little logo on Walt's necktie. And that is actually the logo for Smoketree Ranch. It was a place that was really important to Walt. And I'm a little sad to hear it's up for sale. I actually think that D23 had an event there recently, I believe. And I'm kind of surprised the company isn't buying it and doing something touristy with it. Because chances are whoever buys it is just going to knock down Walt's old little house there and do what they want with it.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, probably. Maybe I should go pretend I'm interested in buying it and just take a real estate tour. How many people do you think are actually doing that? I bet you some people are.
That'd be funny.
Gonna do it. Let's do it. Gonna buy it. So yeah, it's a bummer. This is a lot of bummer news today. What a bummer show. Oh man.
We went to Trader Sam's and we did Poor People's Fireworks. I say that was a success.
Okay, that's a success. One other quick thing I want to mention before we move on to trivia. I recently made a reservation for the Carthay Circle restaurant at Disney California Adventure. I'll be going for my first time. Yay! But the reason I mention it is because I actually remember you mentioning this to me, Patrick, when I was in Florida, and it happened to me out here as well. So I thought I don't know if this is a warning or what, but I find it interesting. Didn't you say that now to make reservations, you need to it requires a credit card to hold it? Am I remembering this correctly, Patrick?
For Disney dining?
Yeah.
Yes, because if you reserve a reservation, they ask for a credit card number, because if you do not show up, you are charged, I think, $25.
Yeah, so that happened to me, and when it happened, I was just making a reservation online, and they asked for a credit card, and at first I was taken aback because I'd made many reservations at Disney restaurants, and never had to give a credit card, and it reminded me of our conversation. So I was like, I guess it made it to the West Coast as well. And the funny thing is they don't mention what they're going to charge you if you don't show up. They're just like, if you don't show up or give us 24 hours notice of cancellation, you're getting charged. And it has no mention of the amount. I was like, youch. I'm like, well, I better show up. So yeah, I'll go to Carthay Circle pretty soon. And I guess I'll let you all know about it, and I'm pretty excited about it. But one thing I was thinking as I was putting in my credit card, what do you think of this? So say it's a day where park is going to hit capacity. And, whether it's a 24-hour Disney day or Christmas day or whatever, one of those days where park is going to hit capacity. What if you have a reservation and a credit card on hold for that reservation? Do you think they'll let you into the park? Is this a possible loophole?
I mean, depend if you actually got that reservation, but they probably wouldn't charge you at that point.
You don't think they'd let you in?
I don't think either. I don't think maybe. Well, I don't know, depending on what ticket you have as well. But possibly. Yeah.
Because my whole thing was, assuming, you have your annual pass, your ticket for the day or whatever, you show up, and they're like, sorry, we've reached capacity. And you can be like, oh, sorry, I have a reservation at the Carthay Circle Theater. You need to let me in so I can make my reservation. I wonder if that would, get you in. That'd be kind of awesome if that was a loophole. I would make reservations for all those crazy days. In fact, maybe I should make one right now for the 24-hour Disney day. I don't know. Just saying. Might be worth trying. Anywho, I think we need to move on to trivia at this point, unless you have anything else you want to say, Patrick.
Nope, let's do it.
Let's do it. Hit me.
Okay. In the Walt Disney Studios, Soundstage 2 is where Mary Poppins was filmed, and it's named the Julie Andrews stage.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what was filmed in Stage 1 and who that one's dedicated to?
I believe it was the Mickey Mouse Club, and it's named after Annette Funicello. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yay. Do you know what the... so Julie Andrews shot Mary Poppins in Stage 2, but do you know what other film she shot in there?
Nope.
The Princess Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. True story. Okay, that's a good trivia question. I like it. I dig it. I've got one for you. So we all know that Disney is great at pumping out princesses, but there was a 30-year period where Disney did not have a new princess. So I'm wondering if you can tell me who the new princess was that broke that curse, and who the one was before that new princess.
Oh, God.
It's pretty simple if you actually think about it.
Was it Snow White?
No, Snow White was the first princess.
Yeah, but was she the break?
Oh, no, you're saying there was 30 years after Snow White where there wasn't one?
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Think later.
Is it Aurora?
Aurora? Okay. So you're saying Aurora was what? The one in
the one before the 30-year.
Okay, good. Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. And then 30 years later, we had a new princess, and her name was...
Belle?
Ariel.
Oh, Ariel.
Ariel from The Little Mermaid, 1989, and Aurora before that, 1959, which is where the title for the documentary Waking Sleeping Beauty comes from. Because
True.
Disney had... Yeah, so if you haven't seen Waking Sleeping Beauty, it's fabulous. And... yeah, so Aurora in 1959, followed by Ariel in 1989. So there's that big 30-year gap where there were no new princesses. And now there's new princesses all the time. I don't even know how many official princesses there are now. And is Princess Leia an official Disney princess? I don't even know.
Let's name all of them.
That's going to be next week's trivia question for you. Name all of the Disney princesses.
Snow White, Aurora, Belle, Ariel, Jasmine...
Don't forget
Pocahontas,
Tiana.
Mulan.
Tiana.
I'm getting there. I'm going in order-ish.
Okay. Order-ish? I think you missed a few. That's all right. That's funny. Anywho, I think that's it for today, Patrick. So I will talk to you next week about some more Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for listening, folks. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.